I hope you'll indulge me for a moment of silence for Sarah Beckstrom. Our thoughts, our prayers are with her and her family. Out of respect to her, before I start this broadcast, which, mind you, I'm not going to sit here and just recite what you already know. I'll go through some of the details, and then I'm going to go through the message that Trump put out, many of you read, but not just through the message, not just through the talking points, not just through the sound bites, but the executables, what it actually means, how it can be done, how it will be executed, how many people it affects, what facets of the government it will touch, and how it's done. Because I don't think you're turning the man back right now. I don't think you're turning the whole of the government back right now. But justice, it will be fought. The Democrats will push back. The courts will push back. Of course they will. You don't think I prepared for that? Oh, that's part two. I'll go through how Trump fights that back, because the games have to end. There's actually two ways to fight back against it. They've just been holding it back. There's a plan, because this has been done to a prior president, and that president fought it back. They used the same tactics against him. Strategy's already been written. Folks, I'm not like your normal journalist out there. I just don't read the headlines. I do a crap ton of research to make sure I bring you an understanding of what all these words actually mean through executables. And I can't wait to present to you what I have worked on all night long in just a few seconds.
Now I heard that Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, magnificent person, started service in June of 2023, outstanding in every way. She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's looking down at us right now.
Because there is evil among us, isn't there? How long will we continue to dehumanize people and then wonder why we get the repercussions we get? And then President Trump releases, according to even the White House, one of the most important messages ever released by President Trump. I would go further that it may be one of the most important messages ever released in U.S. history, because it's not just another set of talking points and sound bites. No. Has he had his moments of emotional release? Absolutely. Are you stupid? He screamed at a reporter. Everybody's over emotional right now, aren't they? White House, Stephen Chung, you know him? When Jane Meyer came out, I covered the mayor yesterday. If you missed my video yesterday, I really hope you'll go back and watch it. I'll put a link above. If you're unrestricted, just go back to the video from yesterday. This is so tragic, so unnecessary, she stated. These poor guardsmen should never have been deployed. I live in D.C. and watch as they had virtually nothing to do but pick up trash. It was for political show, and at what cost? She tried to politicize this. Stephen came out, Jane, respectively, shut the F up for trying to politicize this tragedy. And she deserved that. She deserved that. When you see the tragedy there on the ground. Wow. Sorry. There is evil among us. When you have Sarah Beckstrom, who is now passed, and Andrew Wolf still fighting for his life at the moment of this broadcast, things change quickly now. But the Democrats and those on the left and the mainstream media want to politicize this, huh? because orange band bad for trying to keep the nation safe. New footage being released. Suspect identified in custody. I won't say his name. Doesn't deserve it. But new details coming out now, huh? Those CIA connections we spoke about yesterday. More details coming out on that, though. FBI Director Kash Patel coming out when the prior administration made the decision. I'm just going to go forward so you know this is Kash Patel. Made the decision to allow thousands of people in without doing a single background check or vetting. That's how you miss every single sign. Everybody's talking about the same thing. We get it. I told you I'm not going to go through the old talking points and sound bites. Patel says ex-CIA linked Afghan shooter now under terrorism investigation. But why? Multiple reasons why. The DC Guardsman shooting isn't adding up. Many have their thoughts on this. One of those thoughts is the searches. Lisa covered this yesterday. That happened prior to the shooting for his name, a very unique name. You see there 84 searches at 2:24 a.m. 100 searches at 3:28 a.m. before the shooting for his name. 22 searches at 8 a.m. before the shooting for his name. Why would people be searching for his name? Some guessing that may be because this was preconceived. They were searching, someone was searching to see if the act had been done. They should probably go ahead and put a warrant out for those IP addresses, shouldn't they? Hence why the FBI is involved. He's alive, not cooperating from what we've heard, but that will develop over time. Also suspect that the DC National Guard shooting suspect lives in Bellingham, Washington, the same town where the DC sniper John Allen Muhammad trained. Interesting details, huh? That story will continue to develop, but primary story, explanation, what Trump put out. Stephen Miller started framing in yesterday.
We've never faced a threat like this. 20 million people brought into our country from the most failed societies on earth. Afghanistan, Somalia, Libya, Iraq, brought here. No vetting, no conditions, no rules. Brought here on visas, brought here as refugees, brought here as asylees, brought here as illegals. Brought here in every way imaginable, by plane, train, bus, automobile, by land, by sea. For 4 straight years, they deluged this country. And now more blood is being spilled as a result.
Pretty clean words, huh? Concise, direct. And then Trump speaks further. The suspect is an Afghan national flown here by the previous administration. We have no greater national security priority than ensuring that we have full control of the people that enter and remain in our country. For the most part, we don't want them. And then this, of what he minces no words, but I'm not just going to read it. I'm going to tell you what it means, how it's executed, how many people it affects, because I broke it down in great detail, unlike all the other talking heads out there, but that's what you get when you're at this channel, right? And I hope I'm going to take a break. I did not do this yesterday. But thank you all who watched the video yesterday, that you'll take a break for me for one moment. And if you're new here, first, welcome home. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed, the reason this channel continues to grow is you're making sure your bell is checked to all, very critical, so you're alerted to my broadcasts. To help the algorithm notice news matters, make sure you're always commenting, sharing the video, joining as a member if you have the means. If not, just make sure you're always sharing and commenting, making sure your bell is checked, all ultra important. And then if you want to learn about how you fight back, how Trump can fight back and make sure the Democrats and courts can't stop this, You know, about 4 days a week, I continue my podcast over at Restricted Republic. I'm going to be doing that today in great detail because General Flynn just reached out to President Trump. Asked him to do something very significant. I'm going to go through the details of what he asked him to do, put it against the Jackson strategy, and break down in about a 10-minute breakdown of exactly what President Trump needs to do, and I hope the message gets to him. Because it would stop what the Democrats can do to stop him. That's at restrictedrepublic.com. Annual and monthly subscriptions available. You can cancel anytime. All my broadcasts, all Lisa's broadcasts, and all the exclusive content, no commercials, no interruptions. That is our news platform that I would love you at today. Means the world to us. RestrictedRepublic.com. But let's get back to this broadcast.
Changes for Afghanis' ability to apply for asylum. Do you blame all Afghans for this one man's
No, but we've had a lot of problems with Afghans because they had a lot of them coming in on these planes. Again, I show you this picture. We had a lot of them coming in on these planes that are, look at them. There was no check-in. They just poured into the plane. And many of these people are criminals. Many of these people are people that shouldn't be here. And many of them have been gotten out. I mean, we've gotten out a lot of the people that, we've taken a lot of them out of here. But they came in, right? Yeah, I know, the old story. Many are wonderful, yeah, I'm sure.
The press always does it. I call it the human shield principle. But one of them's great. Okay. That's what I call it, the human shield principle. A building full in some foreign country of bad people. And the U.S. military has to get those bad people. And they put one good person in front of the building with 1,000 bad people within it. And that's what the media does to President Trump continually. But there may be one good person in the mix. So that should stop the effort. Do you think that's going to stop the effort anymore? And then another reporter.
The Biden administration.
Because they let them in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane.
Press seizes on that. Why do you blame the Biden administration? She asked him. Why do you... The administration who let all these people in unvetted. Of course he's going to have that reaction. This is a very emotional moment right now. The National Guard that he put into Washington. One of them just died. Do you think he's going to be a little bit emotional right now? He is the commander-in-chief. Of course he's going to be emotional. Stupid questions deserve stupid answers. He goes on about Somalia, but this is the important part. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all of our great American citizens and patriots who have been, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. You guys are more than welcome to it. It's on Truth Social. He ends it. Only reverse migration can fully cure the situation, other than happy Thanksgiving to all except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. So, let me work through this for you. This was a rather long workup, so just give me a moment here, because we're going to go piece by piece, and bear with me. It should take me about 5 minutes if I keep my pace. One of the most monumental statements in U.S. history. Because President Trump just dropped in that message what may go down as one of the most consequential immigration statements in American history. And he did it on Thanksgiving Day. The timing was not of his doing. It was by an absolutely horrific circumstance. It came just hours after 2 National Guard members were shot near the White House. One perished. One is still fighting for his life. Alleged right now by an Afghan national who arrived through the Biden era intake system. But what Trump said next, that was the fuse. He declared game over. But what does that actually mean? We got to break down what he didn't say, what was encoded inside that message, and how the next year in America could be shaped by what is essentially a national reset button on immigration. Let's start with the headline buried inside that message. Trump claims the foreign-born population is 53 million. And he positions this not just as a demographic shift, but as a full-blown national emergency. He frames this population as overwhelmingly dependent on federal support and links that burden to the breakdown of schools, hospitals, housing, crime rates, and the massive fiscal deficits. Now, whether you agree with every statistic or not, the important part is the framework he's creating. He is declaring that immigration is the root cause of America's dysfunction. And once you identify a root cause, which Democrats never do, mind you, ever do identify a root cause, President Trump just did. Once you identify a root cause, you justify extreme scale action to fix it. And that's just not casual rhetoric. This is preparing the public for sweeping federal authority. Constitutionally grounded, mind you, constitutionally grounded in national security, domestic tranquility, and fraud remediation. All constitutionally grounded. The Democrats and mainstream media will try to make it appear it's not. It absolutely is. Well within his power. The hidden blueprint. Reverse migration. Then it's a big phrase. The phrase that every analyst in Washington is going to freak the F out over. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries. Terminate illegal admissions. This is his words. Remove anyone who is not a net asset, end federal benefits for non-citizens, denaturalize those undermining domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge or security risk. Poof. Democrats and mainstream media heads just exploded across the entire nation. That's not a speech. That is a policy blueprint. And the key phrase, only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. Reverse migration is not standard political language. Reverse migration, it means not stopping inflow, but actively shrinking the existing eligible population through removals, visa cancellations, benefit restrictions, and enforcement sweeps. This is systemic, not symbolic. So how many people are we really talking about? If you're still with me here, and I hope I've kept it as clean and concise as I can, the exact question the mainstream media won't touch, how many people could realistically be impacted? Realistically be impacted. Drop your guess in the comments. What do you think? 1, tens, hundreds, thousands, millions, or all? What do you think it's going to be? I got a pinned comment down there. I want you to comment on it. So let's get into the math. My favorite part. If the foreign-born population is 53 million, and Trump's criteria includes, and I got to look at my notes very carefully here, individuals admitted by invalid or fraudulent authority, individuals dependent on federal benefits, those posing national security or criminal risk, those who entered through contested executive processes, those deemed non-compatible with U.S. civic norms, novel thought, those who acquired citizenship through fraud or misrepresentation, then the operation scope is approximately 10 to 20 million people, conservatively. Not necessarily deportations. All action count visa cancellations, benefit terminations, denaturalization proceedings, removing work authorizations, tightening asylum qualifications, mass review of Biden-era people, parole and humanitarian programs, new national security screenings, and state-level cooperative agreements. This becomes a structural reconfiguration of population policy, not a simple border crackdown. Who can execute this, right? Great words, who executes it? Trump hinted at, without naming it directly. National Security Authority. If immigration is reclassified as national security emergency, the president gains broader power to restrict or reverse entries. Fraud-based revocation. If immigration is reclassified, if an Biden-era admission were signed by an unauthorized auto pen, they can be declared invalid, opening the door to mass case reviews. Public charge rules. Public charge enforcement can disqualify people from staying if they rely on public benefits. Denaturalization task forces. Those exist already, and they could be expanded dramatically. Federal benefit restrictions. This is the silent weapon. Remove incentives. Voluntary departures skyrocket. If I don't give you all those federal funds and pay for you anymore, you may leave voluntarily. Full pause on new migration. Shut the valve completely while the system resets. Put all this together, and you get something America has never done at this scale. A nationwide rollback of decades of immigration policy, executed through existing legal frameworks, but with unprecedented scope. So what should you prepare for? Massive policy whiplash. States, cities, NGOs, and federal agencies will be thrown into immediate conflict, which leads me to the second part of the podcast, because Trump will need to speak on this immediately. Because America won't understand what's about to happen. I'll explain to you what's about to happen. It's ugly. Legal warfare. Nearly every move will be challenged in court. Expect non-stop legal drama. We'll speak on that too. A national audit of immigration files. Tens of millions may undergo status reviews, benefit reviews, security checks. He will hunt down everyone, making sure their paperwork is accurate and they haven't overstayed anything. Domestic political polarization on turbo mode. This will dwarf previous immigration fights. The courts will be overwhelmed. They won't be able to keep up with him no matter how hard they try. Shift in labor market and public services. Any major population movement, up or down, create ripple effects everywhere. In your community, maybe. Maybe it's your workplace. Heightened security posture. Expect increased presence of federal law enforcement during the transition, because certain populations will freak the F out and they will fight back. Am I being over dramatic or over serious? No. The implications here are staggering. Trump didn't just send a Thanksgiving message. He issued a historic declaration of intent. One that signals a complete national realignment on immigration and public security. If he follows through, this won't be remembered as a speech. It will be remembered as the moment the United States announced the end of the old immigration era and the beginning of a new one. Love or hate it. This is the closest America has ever come to a population policy reset, and the story is only beginning. I hope I did a good job on that. Because now I tell you what he's going to have to fight against. And it ain't going to be easy. But he has the mechanisms necessary to fight back against it. If you loved it, put a comment below. If I explained it correctly, put a comment below. Because I worked all night to try to break that down for you. I love you all. If you haven't been to restrictedrepublic.com yet, please kick over there now for me. Give us a subscription, annual or monthly. It means the world to us. This work costs a lot of money to back up. But in return, I give you more news. I work harder. I dig deeper. If you're already at Restricted Republic, remember black and white version of the color tab. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.